Has somebody cracked the code to truly creating a great game on the rowing machine? That is, something that is both entertaining and useful. That's the question of the day, because many have tried and many haven't quite hit the mark. Well, this app may be the solution to that. Let's take a look at who it is, what they're doing, and whether or not you're gonna wanna jump in. So the app at question today is called EXR. It's by Salty Lemon. Now, EXR is essentially the first avatar-driven rowing game. I guess we can call it a game. I would call it an app. I would call it a lot of different things. And that, I think, is where a lot of the unpacking begins, is what is EXR aiming to do and how are they trying to do it? So let's take a deep dive into how this thing works. I'll give you my first thoughts and show you kind of how it works so you can actually see the monitor and what's happening. And then we'll kind of break down what's the future, what's the plan, do you want to be a part of it? First time I'm in here, jump into the EXR app. What it's gonna ask me to do first time around that I get into this, immediately it nudges me to sync with the device. Now, the devices that Salty Lemon currently syncs with, Concept 2 Water Rower RP3. Now, are there others? 100%. I'm not sure that others will let them play on their platforms if it's a connected device. So for example, Hydro and ERGATTA, Nordic Track, don't know if they'll be able to sync in with them. But as far as who they connect with, I think this is a great start with the intent, I've heard that they plan on connecting with more as they go. But honestly, to start with even 3 machines is better than most who just typically start with 1. So start. I land on my main menu here. With this, you can see I've already accumulated some points here. I'm a level 5 beta tester. Beyond that, I am just going to head to the start menu. Now, I do want to call out the mini games in this. While they're actually pretty fun. Now, with Concept 2, if you've ever played with the games, they're fun. But the mini games that EXR has created are actually pretty entertaining. There's Buoy Blast and Shark Attack. Both are quite entertaining. I had a lot of fun with Buoy Blast, actually, trying to best my score. Engaging wise, it's very dynamic with the graphics. I did enjoy that. Inside of the training complex here, here's where I can go row in Boston. There will be more bodies of water added to this over time. Currently, you can do the Charles, you can race the Charles, all sorts of different loops. Then you've got Lake EXR. I believe that's where we're heading for the workout that I'm gonna do today, which is simply just row so you can experience it. It comes with a couple different challenges that happen inside of that loop, and those are kind of fun. So let's go ahead and select rowing on the edge here. I'm gonna hit row. That means I'm gonna get geared up. Now you can see my amazing avatar here. This is, I believe, an ambassador's. They do have an ambassador program. It's in closed beta right now. For $49.99, you can buy in as a closed beta ambassador, and I think that gives you your first year for free once they actually launch and go into it. So, if you like that, if you like that experience, I think the plan is that it's gonna be $10 a month, $100 a year. So you're kind of buying it at a discount there. Plus you get to play with it in the meantime, and you get this cool log shell, which I like. Definitely not aerodynamic, but I'm fast enough. All right, here we go. I'm gonna settle in for a loop. And first strokes taken off. Now it takes about 2 or 3 strokes for the avatar to kind of catch up with me. But here I go. Seemingly no issues that I'm rowing a log. It's not creating a whole lot of draft. I appreciate that. Now I do appreciate, as I go through this, that the oars are actually synced up to my stroke rate. It's not just an avatar moving back and forth with, with oars just moving at will. It's actually giving me my stroke rate, which is cool. If I take my stroke rate up, the stroke rate increases on the screen. I like that. As far as the avatar goes, when it comes to like developing a full-blown avatar, it's basics right now. You've got skin tone, a few haircuts. I can choose my uni. They're all basically the same, just different colors. Now, as you do workouts, you do earn coins here, and those coins can be used to buy and upgrade stuff as you go. I like that. Okay, so coming up is my first sprint. Okay, so this is gonna be a 100-meter sprint. Here we go. All right. Woo. Oh, highway sprint. 16.5 seconds. I don't know where that puts me. 8th place. All right. It's actually pretty motivating. You know, the thing that I'm having trouble with, and I'm learning this as I go, I still want to be looking down at my monitor. So I'm not really sure what the long-term solution is, but I guess my point is the iPad sits a little bit high for me. And what I'm finding with that is that with the display being at the top of the screen, it's almost too high for eye level. You know, maybe if there's a way to move that to the bottom of the screen, that would improve just a little bit of head position. If you used Zwift before, there are a lot of cyclists on there at all times. Now, I don't know how many of those are avatars or how many are real people. It would definitely be fun to see other boats on here, you know, maybe pairs, doubles, sweep rowers, eights, just to keep it visually engaging. And not to mention, it'd be really fun to be lining up next to an 8 and try and do some sprints alongside them. For me, that would be kind of motivating. I would have fun with that. I would enjoy that. Okay, focus, Shane. Here we go. Here we go. Woo! 16 flat. Notch 0.4 off of that. That moves me up a space into 7th. I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. Set that handle down. And you'll see, it just kind of brings me to a stop. On the screen, I'm just resting. Again, this is a just row scenario. Now, when you're in training, there's a protocol you're doing. It's gonna keep you more tied to that. Hey, what's going on? Why did you stop? So on and so forth. So you can see my peak power moments there, 2 of them. So let's stop rowing. Now, here's what I like as well. Integration so far, Strava and the C2 logbook. As soon as I'm done, boom, it's gonna push it to Strava. It's gonna push it to the logbook, which I like. As you guys know, I didn't have any issues, just authenticate, good to go. So let's start with the question of what is EXR? Well, EXR is an avatar-driven universe, if you will, that is essentially trying to create a 3D mock-up of the world of rowing. You get into a boat, you get onto water, and you get to row. Essentially what they've done is allowed this app to integrate with kind of 3 primary machines in the rowing world, starting with Concept 2, Water Rower, and RP3. Probably the first company to pursue multiple machines. Now, on top of that, they are integrating with across all devices. So you have both Google, Android, and iOS devices available to use EXR. Where I think it goes beyond just being a video game is that it can create a truly adaptive training environment. And that's where I think a lot of the value lies in EXR. But when you get into the training component, it uses an FTP, or a functional threshold power, as your primary testing component. So it asks you, if you want to move into the training stuff, to set that FTP so that going forward, any workout you do is based off of that number. That functional threshold power is how long, or what's the peak wattage you can maintain for 1 hour before you just... And there are 2 ways that they can test this. They take through the 20-minute test, which is max power for 20 minutes, and then you deviate off of that by 5%. That gives you your hour, essentially your hour of power number. And then there is the ramp test, in which every minute you build higher and higher and higher, or faster and faster and faster on your split, until you can no longer hold it for a minute. And out of that, they are able to deduce what your FTP is. Now, what isn't EXR? Well, it's not going to be your immersive class experience where there's an instructor at the front rah-rahing you along the way. So don't go into it expecting that, because that's probably not what you're gonna get. However, if you've ever played with a bike, been on Zwift, it's very similar to that experience. I think they're getting to Zwift before Zwift can get to Zwift on the rowing side of things, and I love that. And I think that if they can take it and really run with it, they have a really good opportunity to kind of grab all of us that find that dynamic and engaging component and maybe integrate in different ways. So let's talk about what's coming with EXR. Currently, it's in closed beta, which means that you can't just go download it right now. You're gonna have to sign up as an ambassador if you wanna gain access to it right now. For $49.99, you're essentially pre-buying or pre-paying for the program, in which you're saying, yep, I'm willing to be an ambassador, and when you go live, I get a free year on top of that, which is gonna be $10 a month or $100 a year. So it's half of that price, and you get early access, and you get to mess around with it and provide feedback. You get a cool ambassador badge, things like that. That's kind of the numbers on how this thing is going to work out. Whether or not you want to be involved now or later, totally up to you. But know that at this moment, you gotta be an ambassador if you wanna be playing with it. Okay, so what you're gaining access to right now inside of the closed beta, if that's something that you choose to do, is you're going to get the current worlds, which they plan on releasing more of these. Currently, it's Boston, essentially, the Charles, and a lot of different routes and laps along that. And then they have, what you saw is kind of their Lake EXR, their home territory. Beyond that, you're going to be able to create your avatars. You have the ability to track your training. There will be more that comes on top of that. They plan on having competitions in the future. You can take detailed looks at your analytics, how your performances went. You saw on my screen, I was able to see those peaks when I actually hit my sprints. And I do like that. There's a kind of a beautiful storytelling that happens of your data. You can also take a look at what other people are doing, how they're performing. I can follow other people. I can add them to my follow board. So that's all great, and that's what's accessible now. In the future, however, what do they plan on doing? Well, there are going to be even more third-party integrations. Again, currently it's just Strava and the Concept 2 logbook, which are kind of the standard two, I would say, across most apps at this moment. So they plan on doing more of that. They plan on opening up more bodies of water. Great. I look forward to seeing more places to row, but they're going to add more of that, improved user experience, more realistic sound effects, things like that. It's just gonna continue to develop as they go. But again, it was something like this that's currently in beta. You know that they're churning hard behind the scenes, trying to really improve what it's going to be. I actually very much like this experience. Now, I have been a Zwift user in the past. I'm a bit tuned to this kind of environment. Hopefully, more and more machines come on board, which means that it's just a bigger world. All in all, though, I can see this being something that I would use regularly as well because it uses foundational training plans. I can interject my own training plans, or I can follow theirs. And I love that it just gives me good workouts. It's not like, here's the 20-minute HIIT workout. You know, I can see what the plan is for the workout and how I'm gonna have to hit it. Why should you care? Well, if you love a class experience, this is not gonna be for you. But if you've been looking for something motivating, engaging, a way to really involve yourself with your machine, and you don't have a connected machine already, I think this is gonna be a really great opportunity to get something that's just fun. At the end of the day, it's got my seal of approval. And whether or not you decide to sign up, maybe you wait until it's live and you check out the free trial, I think either way, it's something that would be worth investing if you want to try a new experience on your rower. Hey, if you love this and you want more, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it so that you get alerted when I come out with new videos. And don't forget to check out our other reviews of products and apps so you can check out what might be right just for you.